What is up, guys? Ringmaster Flex here. I wanted to talk about the last ride, the last ride series of the Undertaker. Now, for a while now, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know that the Undertaker retired, but I just wanted to give my, um, analysis on the documentary that he came out with, and also just him retiring as a whole. It was a really good documentary. It was a lot of things about the Undertaker that I hadn't known, and it was really interesting because it was the first time that you really got to see Taker, aka Mark Galloway. You got to see Mark out of character in this documentary, and I thought it was well structured. There's a lot of things that I didn't know prior to watching this documentary here in the Last Ride series. I wasn't able to see the last two episodes, but I heard that in the final episode of the documentary, he revealed that his match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania, the Boneyard match, was his final match, and that he had no desire in stepping back into the ring. And it's just amazing some of the things that the Undertaker has done and sacrificed and put himself through throughout these years. The fact that he even said himself that it was because of the streak that it made sense for him to work part time and come once a year and wrestle once a year at WrestleMania. He would literally have injuries almost every WrestleMania. The last 7 to 6 WrestleManias he wrestled, he always would get surgery for something that was bothering him at that particular time after his match, and it was just crazy to me to really hear the pain that Mark had really gone through and a lot of his final matches at WrestleMania. Um, you know, Even to know that his match with Brock Lesnar, which I had already heard this even before his documentary, that he had suffered a concussion and he didn't even remember anything from the match. He can't remember a single thing that took place in that match. He was pretty much, in the hospital for a bitter part of the next day after that match. So it was pretty devastating to hear um, how Undertaker suffered in his match with Brock Lesnar. And, you know, like I said, he's one of the all time greats. I heard at one point in the documentary, they kept saying, he always would say, I just need to find that one match that you feel like this is it, it's done. And hopefully his match with AJ Styles really was his last match. I know he signed a 15-year deal with WWE, but I hope that's only for special appearances. I hope that's not for WrestleMania matches. But anything is possible. We've seen many guys come out of retirement. We've seen Shawn Michaels do it once in Crown Jewel. We've seen, Edge, of course, is out of retirement right now. He was actually one of the guys on the video who said, "When is the time?" And Shawn Michaels in his documentary said, "I don't even know if he knows when is the time." And so it was just a really, good documentary. Like I said, I missed the final two episodes, but I did hear about what he said, and it was just, heartwarming to see Mark out of character in this manner. And you know, it it really, and the thing is, he knew that he couldn't move as fast as he used to, as quick as he used to, but he kept saying, he himself will determine when it's time. Once he had his match with AJ Styles, he felt that, at least for now, he felt that that was, the perfect way to end it. A match that wasn't even, you know, an actual wrestling match. It was more like a movie style fighting type match, fighting scene type of match. But I really enjoyed it. It closed out night one for WrestleMania. But I really enjoyed it, and it's just amazing what Undertaker sacrificed himself to with his business. He's the only guy to not leave. Where a lot of guys left and went to WCW in the '90s, he stayed with the company even through the martial arts screw job and everything. He still stayed within the company. He stayed loyal this whole time. And from 1990 to now, he actually been wrestling longer than that because at first he was in WCW, but they don't really mention about that. But 1990 Survivor Series when he made his official debut. As at that time, his manager was Beverly Love. So it was just kind of amazing what the Undertaker has done, and with Mark, it's kind of hard to call him as really, but it's just amazing what he's done. I know Mick Foley in the documentary he said how I believe he wrestled with a broken foot when he wrestled uh, Mankind. Mick Foley at Hell in a Cell at King of the Ring 1998, and I did not know. I knew all the injuries and Mick Foley suffered in that match because it was a famous match. It was a match that a lot of people uh, really loved, especially when he threw Mick Foley from the top of the cell and he chokeslammed him through the cell wall, which was not supposed to happen. It was not scripted to happen. And, a lot of people famously loved that match, and I do too. Just hearing JR's voice when he falls through the cell is one of the most memorable moments of the Undertaker's career. Uh, JR is just screaming, my God, he killed. Like, and then I remember when he chokeslammed him through the cell, it seemed like King was like, "That's it, he's dead." My God, somebody stopped the match. Like it was just, insane. And just to see all the character switches that the Undertaker's had from, his starting in the early '90s to, eventually going to Mystery of Darkness character, which at one point he sacrificed Stephanie, and he was gonna just marry or something. Austin stopped it and just sacrificed her. Then he came back to American Badass. I never heard all of his themes because, but he's had a lot of different theme songs. Personally, my favorite one is Keep Rolling. But I do like the one that actually I have three. Keep Rolling, The Mystery of Darkness, and then the one that he's been using for the last past decade or so. But like I said, it was a really good documentary just to see what this man really went through and just what he really put himself through. I felt the crazy thing was, he basically said in the documentary that after that match with Brock Lesnar, he kind of just lost his confidence. And, Triple H spoke to him and was like, remember who the F you are, and you're the effing Undertaker. And it was just crazy that he pretty much had to gain his confidence back. But the confidence when he gained it back, unfortunately, it was a price for it. And I can understand why he felt like he needed to wrestle again after his match with Roman. The only reason he thought that at the time that was his last match is because he needed hip surgery. And I really thought the way he exited the ring that was it. A lot of the fans were getting emotional. They really thought that was it, but I understand why he felt the need to come back because he just didn't want his career to end that way. I mean, if you just look at the match, it really wasn't good. You could see Undertaker barely able to stand within the match. You know, he just really looked out of it, and I see why he felt the need to come back and ended up facing Cena the next year, WrestleMania 34, and squash Cena. And a really good build-up where they pretty much had it where before he came out, the same hat he put that he laid flat on the ground, he pretty much struck the hat before he came out. So it was a badass way for him to come out. Face Cena and squash and all the things that Cena had said leading up to the match. In fact, Cena actually played as a fan at WrestleMania 34 prior to waiting for the Undertaker to come out. So it was a really good, it was a really good way for him to make a return. I remember he said on his documentary about how long it actually took him to, you know, how long it actually took him that day, like WrestleMania, how much stuff he had to do prior to that. So it's just kind of crazy to see all the things that the Undertaker has gone through, especially prior to a lot of his matches, some of the things he had to do to prepare for them, and like I said, just a general summary of the documentary. I'm not going to really go over everything that I saw in the documentary, but basically, you could definitely tell that Vince obviously has a lot of love for Taker, has a lot of love for Mark because he was starting to get emotional just talking about it. Because basically Taker's going to take a bullet for Vince. He would do anything for Vince. He even said that even though he has no desire to get back in the ring, if Vince needs him, he's there. So it just shows you, despite how Vince is, despite the type of person Vince is, despite the people who think Vince, there's no denying that Taker's been loyal to him all this time. Even when Vince actually thought he was leaving to go to AEW, when he went to the Starcade event last year, he was very upset. They kind of didn't talk for a while after that, but they after a while they just started talking again with his method. So, and Vince was very concerned when he had his match with Brock. He immediately said that he needed some help because he knew that he was hurt. He knew he had a concussion, and yeah, I mean, just me basically briefly going over the documentary. Also, just saying, some really amazing moments because there's a lot of moments that he's had in WWE and WWF that is just really hard to grasp. But I would say the last 6 to 7 WrestleManias that Taker had were definitely his best matches. His match with Batista, WrestleMania 23. In fact, that year itself was, the best um, shape the Undertaker had ever been in. Like, Undertaker was in the best shape of his life in 2007. I don't know what it was about that year, but he was in incredible shape. His match with Batista was one of my favorite matches he had at WrestleMania. His match with his matches with his match with Edge was a really good match. His match with Shawn Michaels was incredible. 25 and 26 in his career. His 3 matches with Triple H because he won at WrestleMania 17. I like that match too. I thought that match was a really good match as well. His match with Triple H at WrestleMania 17 the first time. And their last 2 matches, WrestleMania 27 and 28. Excellent, excellent matches. 27, quite frankly, I would say was probably the match of the night for WrestleMania 27. Anything, 28, the end of the era match, Hell in a Cell, another incredible match, and then of course the match with CM Punk. But, it comes at a cost because eventually, he pretty much once he faced Lesnar and Wyatt, his match with Shane was alright, but his last couple of matches just couldn't compare to that trilogy, those trilogies he had from 2007 all the way to about 2000, 2013. And even his match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania 21 was another really good match. I really like that match as well. As far as his matches at WrestleMania in the 90s, I mean, I wouldn't really say any of those were like Taker's best matches, but of course, you had the memorable moment when he defeated Psycho Sid at WrestleMania 13 and won the WWF Championship in the main event. That was very memorable. He won the 2007 Royal Rumble, of course, defeated Batista at WrestleMania to win the Royal Championship. He had an amazing feud with Batista that year. He had an amazing feud with Randy Orton in 2005. Their Hell in a Cell match was a great match. All of Taker's Hell in a Cell matches are memorable. He was in the first Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels in 1997 when Kane made his debut. They pretty much tore the house down at that Hell in a Cell match. So, and then of course, you can never forget when Maven eliminated Taker at the Royal Rumble 2002. He just went crazy after that. He was the American Badass. He had a great match with Jeff Hardy at Ladder Match 2002 that really put Jeff Hardy over in that match because even though he retained the title, Jeff was this is when Jeff really started to get a single push, and the Undertaker really just put Jeff over in the match. And he's had a heck of moments. I can just go on and on with the moments that Taker's had, so many great feuds he's had. I know it's kind of hard to go through. I mean, the man's been doing this for literally 30 years, so it's a lot to sit through, and a lot of this stuff I know because I've done my history. Obviously, I'm not that old. I'm only 20, but I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of clips of notes, and that's how I know a lot of his background. But you know, it's just amazing to see, uh, what he did, what he's done. And, he had a character that a lot of people were just terrified from when he made his debut in 1996. But they grew to love him. They grew to love him. They grew to respect him. And every time you hear that dome, the crowd just goes crazy. And I gotta say, his last couple of matches, and specifically the one he had when he teamed up with Roman, and he teamed up with Shane and Drew McIntyre. That was a really good match. It was last year. And then you get to WrestleMania this year, AJ Styles, another good match. Prior to that, he showed up at Super Showdown, eliminated AJ Styles from that. I mean, funky tournament they had. But I mean, like I said, it's just amazing to me what this man has done, how he's presented his character. Because it's funny, people just don't know what wrestlers go through behind the scenes. The fact that Mark even said how he lost his confidence, and the fact that he pretty much said, that there's some people, there's some young guys out there who don't even make it to the college. It's his job to pretty much make it to where his match is meaningful. Because there's guys out there that he's wrestling these WrestleManias and he had these WrestleMania matches, they didn't even make it to the card. So it just really shows the passion and the dedication of the Undertaker and how he really cares for the younger guys out there. And like I said, the match is he's just a character that people say can never be duplicated. You can never duplicate the Undertaker's character ever. Mark, he took that character, he ran with it for 30 years, and you just can't. You can't duplicate it. So much history he's had from his first WrestleMania when he beats Jimmy Superfly Snuka. It just kind of goes from there. Kind of. I know the order towards the late nineties. I know, he beat Big Boss Man at WrestleMania 15 in a Hell in a Cell match. The most memorable thing people know about that is that putting him with Scorpion pretty much had him choked after the match. WrestleMania 14, he Kane, his brother Kane, had brother Kane WrestleMania 14. It was a pretty good match. I probably would say, in my opinion, that was my favorite match they had as far as the WrestleManias. I think this match was probably my favorite. This one, the WrestleMania 20 match was just good because he finally brought back the Dead Man Cage because he hadn't used it since, I believe, since what, 2000. 1999, so no, since 1999. So he hadn't used the Dead Man character in a long time because when he came back from injury in 2000, that's when he started doing American Badass. So he wasn't using the Dead Man character for a long time. So when he brought it back in WrestleMania 20, it was just very memorable at that time to see it on Barrel. I believe he came with him when he made his entrance. So it was just kind of, memorable at the time when it happened. And, like I said, there's never going to be anyone like him, like I said, and I know he's like I said, was one thing too, as well. Kevin Nash, aka Diesel at the time. Um, it's kind of crazy to say he WrestleManias, but yeah, I mean, again, he just he's just it's just no one that can compare all of the things that he's done throughout the years to match further match Sean, the way he can leap from the ropes for a man his size, just everything that he did and what he put himself through and the pain that he had in a lot of matches to keep going as long as he did. It's just incredible. Like I said, the video documentary really just summarized that. The documentary that he had last Raw series. And, it was a great documentary to see Mark for the first time. A man who was really private. Really, you never really seen any documentaries of him speaking behind the scenes or anything. He was very private with that type of stuff. For the first time, he actually got to see the man behind the Undertaker, to see, uh, what he was and see the things he said. It just made me have even more respect for him than I already did. Just to see how much he really put through his business and what he actually did for his business. Even at times when when everyone was leaving, he still stayed and stick around, and he's just left, a trilogy of just amazing moments throughout the years. Like I said, it's just way too many moments to point out, but he's done a lot of them. There were a lot of moments. Um, it's just like I said, it would just never be anybody like Taker again. Um, it just won't. That would be A Train picture of WrestleMania 19. But there'll never be anybody like Taker again. Never, no character, nobody can take that character that he used, Mark used, and run with it the way he did. It's just incredible what he's done. And of course, thanks to Taker, thanks to Mark for using that character. I hope this is good for him though. I mean, if he decides to come somewhere down the line because he has that 15-year deal, I hope it's just simply for appearances. I really do hope this is it for him in the ring because he's pretty much done everything there is to do. I don't see any particular reason as to why he should come back. But yeah, I mean, Taker, just an incredible wrestler. I mean, just incredible memories that he left behind. Um, like I said, it's you hear that dome, people just lose it. Who can forget when he made his return at Survivor Series 2005 after that No Mercy match with Team SmackDown won against Raw, and he showed up, popped out of the casket. Who can forget that? So that was a very memorable moment when that happened. Um, he's just had moment after moment after moment, so many memories. Even at one point, it is an amazing match. Kurt Angle at No Way Out 2006. Um, when he came out and basically made the ring fall. Kurt Angle defeated Marco Roman here. I mean, he just had so many moments, so many moments to point out. Um, the Undertaker versus Undertaker feud, I believe in 1994. Just man, he just has a lot of moments. Actually, he has a lot of moments that are retired in years. And again, nothing like it. So thank you, Tangy. Thank you, Mark, for making that character. And like I said, the video, this documentary really helped me have a respect even more than I already did. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to briefly just talk about some of the things because Taker's done a lot of things, and Marcus did a lot of things to point out all of his accomplishments. I just named a few, but he won the World's Heavyweight Championship quite a few times. He's Never won the IC title. That's one title he just never won. Like I said, he was a 2007 Royal Rumble winner. Um, he's won the tag team titles quite a few occasions at one point. And won the titles with The Rock and Stone Cold. And just a variety of even Kane. A lot of different people for the tag titles. So as far as his accomplishments, kind of a lot to say right now. Um, but he won the undisputed title in 2002 after he defeated early Judgment Day that year. So he's just had, like I said, a lot of moments. Actually, that same year he beat Ric at WrestleMania, so he's had a lot of championship accomplishments. And who can forget his feud with also with the Great Khali in 2006. He's had a lot. I mean, just a lot, a lot of memorable days, a lot of memorable feuds and things like that. But like I said, it took place in a famous match where Stallman injured his back, the Royal Rumble into the meat. So he's done it all, man. And, all I can say, like I said, is thank you, Mark, for what you have done, what you have achieved. You deserve to rest. You've done this for a long time. So you deserve to rest and food, as you would say, rest in peace. So that's it for me, guys. Sign off for Augusta Sports. Like, comment, subscribe, and talk to you guys in the next peace.